Now, for sure, folks, if you missed any of these shows, man, you've missed a heck of a show. But let's also remember to also tweet your comments and your questions to hashtag VWE Live, and we could get them on the air, let alone also um, be asked or even spoken at any point. Now, we had a interesting prime time, and of course, the good doctor here, Myra Murdoch here, was for all that action. What
Hello.
happened at prime time?
Well, I mean, there had been a very peculiar match between Kurt Bombastic and Vince Easterwood. I mean, it was a very close call. I mean, you got brute strength taking on a master tactician. I mean, there had been close calls here and there, but in the end, Vince Easterwood managed to overcome it all and still actually managed to give Kurt gave a handshake to Vince Easterwood. I mean, perhaps maybe this might be a sign of Kurt turning over a new leaf, maybe? Perhaps he's just done with being just the furious brute that everybody wants to portray him as ever since his beef with Ludi. I
Well,
mean, it was
I mean,
it was
well,
weird.
it's also that point too, is that Kurt Bombastic and Vince Easterwood know each other very, very well, and maybe it's a sign of respect, especially now that Vince Easterwood has the VWE World Heavyweight title.
Exactly. But also, not other than that, we also had the 6-woman tag team match main event, which during that time, Maxine wanted to distract Viola. However, Alexandra was in the same tag, it was in the same team as Viola, kind of got pissed. She was done with this whole feud between her and Maxine, so she basically bailed. So, who knows, perhaps this might be the end of the sorority itself. I mean, it was already a given from the get go as to where she blamed Maxine for Selena taking her, or at least Selena costing her her belt in the first place. So it kind of already gives a say that nothing was alright to begin with. And Alexandra was just riding along until things got too far. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
perhaps this might be the end of them. Who knows?
It will definitely be devastating, but I mean, there's a lot of tension, and in my opinion, there was too many chiefs running the boat, so to speak. And I mean, it looked at it. Viola had the World Women's Championship, so she was designated as leader. But now that she doesn't have that, I guess it was kind of starting of a power struggle throughout the sorority between Maxine and Viola, and it just kind of came to a boiling point, I guess.
Yeah, or Alexandra was basically just in the middle of all of it. She just let things go as they went, but up until the point where she kind of aired out Maxine's dirty laundry, so to speak, she kind of got a little frustrated with Viola and just laid her out, just proving that she was done with the sorority and done with Viola altogether. But of course, also following with that, and I want to say topping it all, that Knight, the Architect of Annihilation Knight, the current VWE United States champion, came out with Cody Hooley to celebrate him winning the belt. Now, they were explaining that they were GOAT, so to speak.
Yeah, they made a mention of that on Edge, but we'll get on that here in a little bit. And I
Yeah.
I understand what the acronym stands for, but why go with GOAT? I
I don't know. But it seems to work with them, I guess, as to where they were just there. Knight was explaining that he was all of this, that he proved that he's worth being the United States champion, and then just started cussing out Wolfie that he was nothing. Basically, a little bit of a nostalgic moment to where Kieran was kind of doing the same thing to him. But out of nowhere, it seemed like a fan came out from the barricade, up and over the barricade, into the ring and laid out Knight as Cody was too busy on the ramp, distracted as he was waiting for him or something of that nature, and didn't even see the attack until it happened. but turned out to be Wolfie Castle in disguise, and told Knight, "That's it, you better run, because eventually I will come after you for my belt, and I will get my belt back."
Well, definitely was an exciting night there at prime time. I mean, it seemed like full of surprises.
Pretty
But
much.
as we go on to Edge, though, in the beginnings of the show, we had Rikurahara coming out for a match, but lo and behold, here comes Marionetta and
Oh,
coming out and had a talk. Now, I know it just seemed to me that Marionetta had a death wish, but then again, this is Marionetta, who really at this point doesn't seem to really care about her well-being, so to speak, as long as she's having fun.
oh, I mean, yeah, that's already given, but again,
But
like you said, this is Marionetta.
exactly. But then turn around and she was telling Rikurahara not to be so serious, to actually have some fun for once. You know, I mean, smile, laugh, it's good for you.
Wow,
And
I was expecting something else. I mean, we all know how Ree is. Come on now, just to tell her to enjoy life more, or to laugh more, or to smile even. It's just, ugh. It's spooky.
But, Rhea was just like, look, I've got other people to tend with than dealing with you. Not in those terms, but at least, hey, at least it was a nice way of putting it, like, get out of this ring. It was a lot better than what she would have done before. But it seemed that what Marionetta had said did strike a nerve in Rikurahara. Honestly, anybody getting through her, the least likely I would think was Marionetta. But Ree sat here and pretty much seemed to be, I don't know, what is the term that people use nowadays, triggered? And just told her to get out of the ring and got through, and so she could continue on with her match. But then there was a match against Crystal and Hillary, and that was a little back and forth action there. It was once again, Hillary carrying her petition to the ring, but did not wait for the bell to really start laying into Crystal.
Does she ever? Be quite honest, does she ever really? If she's not gonna give you the patience to want to sign her petition, she's not gonna wait for you to do something else. She's just gonna beat the hell out of you instead. My dear Lord. But, I would have to say as a side note, maybe the petition is a good thing, because if you notice, she's been too busy trying to get signatures instead of trying to attack the table like she used to. So maybe this petition is a little bit of a blessing in disguise. And to me, she doesn't seem to be getting any more signatures. So, again,
well, a lot of people are saying that they will sign it, but that's definitely going to be a see as they come. I think she is a long way from getting the actual signatures she needs. But turn around, though, as it was revealed the week before that Crystal hired the paparazzi to go around and start taking photos of Aphrodite, but
creepy.
she also used the paparazzi to distract Hillary in her match last Friday, and it worked. Hillary ended up getting distracted, pretty much telling the paparazzi to get out of here, and then following it through with a drop kick, which knocked him, he got back real quick, jumped off the apron, but that was enough for Crystal to, put on her finisher and get the 1-2-3 as she walked out. And as I sat here, as it got revealed, I told you during the show that maybe she hired the paparazzi, to come out here during the match.
But I mean, there's a time and a place for all of that. I mean, does her selfishness and her conceitedness have no bounds? Honestly.
Well, paparazzi love to take pictures, and there is no right or wrong time or place. So she used that to her advantage, and seeing how they're already on her dime, came out to take some pictures of the match of Hillary, and then which caused the win for her to get the win. Now, we had a epic and, dare I say, hilarious main event. Now, not to take away from the main event, is we had GOAT coming out. The greatest of all time, as they call themselves, or the acronym GOAT, turned around and came out and issued basically an open challenge for Knight. Now, what we didn't realize is that Chris Crossfade was in the crowd and handing out signs and getting people to scream that Cody is
Kitty.
black. Yes, kitty. As a kitty, but just the other word for it.
I'm pretty sure we can leave that to their imagination. But yeah,
exactly.
I mean, it was just an uproar. It never stopped. I'm pretty sure it went on for like 2/3 of the main event itself. You know, but you know, if you were to think about it, the folks had to entertain themselves with a little bit more, especially with Knight not even making it as a title match for the Open Challenge itself. I mean, it's not, no, I want to give somebody a challenge, but I don't want to give them too much of it, so to speak. So it was basically just an Open Challenge non-title match.
Well, I mean, and that's sitting there, but that's the thing about it is now he was making a point and seeing who, other than Wolfie Kessel, is actually worthy of a title shot, so to speak. And that's kind of where it came. But Michael Carson came out and sat here and accepted the challenge. They said, let's do this, and the match started. But it ended up coming out with Knight with the win. Though it was a very awesome match. We had Cody Hooley on the table.
From time to time.
Yeah, from time to time, as first he went out to get his goat mask, and then the chants from the crowd were getting under his skin. And
yeah. He had to pace around the ring and stuff like that. Started to get to him, but he was like, no. He started to calm himself down during it, too. So where he's like, okay, just relax. You know, it's what just people are saying. And he sat back down. You know, he handed me a pepper mill. I think he's starting to do that now. Don't know.
Oh, boy. But anyway, as we get on to Pulse, as we have some big news. Now, we've seen before that Stuart Wharf said that there was going to be another belt. There was for Pulse. There was going to be the Pulse Women's title. Yep. As he made that match for three women, for Shockwave for that belt. And I believe, correct me if I'm wrong there, Myra, but it's Misaki, Allison, and Ellie?
Yes. I mean, if you really think about it, it kind of fits. These three ladies have been having issues with each other, especially ever since Misaki took on Allison and Ellie intervening to prevent Allison from getting that broken ankle or that sprained ankle. But, of course, Allison mixing up all of that who's her friend and who's her foe kind of thing. These three have just been attacking each other, and Stuart Wharf came out and figured, you know what? What better way to settle this? Basically killing two birds with one stone. What better way to settle this than putting you three in a triple threat match at Shockwave for the Pulse Women's title? I mean, I don't know if you remember. I doubt you remember. But when Stuart presented the new Pulse Championship belts, they were a set. So, again, what better way to put up the women's title itself than a triple threat match at Shockwave?
And that, folks, I mean, there was definitely, the Pulse night, there was a lot of action that went on. I mean, we had, the Crisis taking on Maven, security having to drag the two men out. And you had to really sedate the Crisis, too, wasn't it?
Yeah, but I kind of should have waited till they dragged Maven backstage, because he kind of took advantage of Crisis being drugged for a minute there. But,
But then there was also, we had pretty much a DIE versus VWE match where we had Kitty taking on Masaki.
Mm-hmm.
To start the show off.
pretty much. And to basically give out that taste for the audience of what the Tag Team Classic would look like, we had Drake Edwards and Allison Danes representing the DIE team taking on Tommaso Farnese and Ellie Christensen Embers for the VWE team as they take on in a tag team match. Now, again, it was a pretty good sample of what's to come at the Classic for June 3rd and 4th.
And then, for sure, I mean, and, it seems like, people are keeping score and whatnot. Now, the funniest thing about it with this match for Shockwave is Alice, a member of DIE, is once again in the title light for a Pulse Championship with Allison Danes. The last time we seen that was the Crisis actually taking on Knight. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see how that works. I mean, what if Allison wins? What if DIE takes the title home? And, how is that going to affect how VWE looks at DIE? It's really going to be the essence of this match at this point. But, ladies and gentlemen, that was, Primetime, Edge, and Pulse. So, right now we're going to get to our guest over here being Plasma, a member from DIE coming over and wrestling on Pulse. So how are you doing there, Plasma?
Well, thank you for your introduction, but let me just introduce myself. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Plasma, and I'm actually doing good in the toss. How you doing, Myra?
I'm doing good.
But please remember to also tweet your questions at hashtag VWE Live. That way you can ask Plasma any question that you want, or even make comments, interact with us, and talk to us.
Also, that we haven't learned by now that we should put a filter on these questions, but any questions is a great question.
Right, question, and I mean, these are things that the fans want to know. So I mean, hey,
yeah, okay.
So now, Plasma, I've noticed that you are having a issue with Drake Edwards as of late. Tonight I noticed that when you came into the ring to attack Drake, you left Tommaso alone. Why is that?
Well, you see, there's a reason that me and Drake are not on good terms. You see, this even stems back at DIE. You see, me and Drake, we're not on good terms. We've had beef in DIE, and you know what? I acknowledge him. The reason me and him are at each other's throats is a simple reason. He represents the new group who comes in self-entitlement. Now, here's a funny thing. You know who else believes he is self-entitled? Take a guess. Ludi Graves. But, however, the difference between Ludi is that he represents the old era, while Drake represents the new era. Now, me, I consider myself to be the guy in between. I'm neither new or old. Hell, as Rainbow Falcon, I was the new guy on the block, but I didn't go around being self-entitled. You see, I earned my shots. Me eventing at Wrestle Series 6 for the VW Grid Championship against my good friend Jeffrey Fireguard, that was a shot that was earned.
So, what you're saying, and granted, it is the fact of you have earned it, and I will agree with that. But you don't think that you say that Drake feels that he's entitled to a title shot?
That's why I really believe him. And hear me out on this. Now, Drake, he's been going around, and you know what? He's a backstabbing son of a bitch. I'll say that right now.
Well then.
You see, you see, originally when me and him came to VWE, it was like, yeah, we're gonna set this grid on fire. We're gonna win. It's not that we're gonna take control of this place. We're just gonna have a good time, and we're just going to see who gets the shot first. Well, he likes to, hit me on that back shoulder from behind, and decides to be like, oh, I got that title shot now. How do you think I'm gonna feel after that?
Well, I don't think you would feel very, very good about that, personally.
Exactly. And the thing is, you see, that was an opportunity that presented itself. Now, me and him, I have to have nothing but good wills for him, but when it comes to matches like that, yeah, he's a dirty asshole.
Well, then that's kind of getting strong, but I guess the feelings would be mutual. I guess if we were to ask Drake Edwards his opinion on you. But being called self-entitled, that's kind of strong. But hey, that's just me, my opinion. So, I mean, what are your plans then? Are you going to just teach Drake that you're not entitled, that he's not entitled, or you just, what are your plans? I mean, I guess that's my question.
Now, you see, my plans I'm not going to say right now because I know for a fact Drake is there as he listens, so I'm going to make you listen good, my brother. Next time that you present yourself and I see an opportunity, I'm just going to let you know I'm going to take that opportunity every step of the way I can. Tonight, that's an opportunity that presented itself.
Well then.
Definitely something that take in consideration. Now, obviously, you're going to go for, the Pulse title, maybe the DIE title. Which title are you going to go for first? I mean, that's just kind of the question. I mean, obviously everybody's here to be known as the best, whether it be at VWE or DIE or even WPWF. But what title do you feel you're going to go for first?
Honestly, I don't think it's going to matter what title I go for. Because, let's face it, I may never win a championship. I may have title shots, but I never may win a title. That's just the way that this business works. But, you see, I cannot tell myself if I'm going to go after it. I have to earn that shot. And the same way everybody else has earned their shots.
Wow, and wasting no time, we already have questions pouring in. Or just comments themselves.
Well, as we have from Twitter saying that DIE is going to take that belt home, don't any of you worry. That's obviously from Allison Danes. But now we've got a question there, I guess, for you there, Falcon. It seems to be the same fan. Sit here and ask this question all the time. Is Cody Hooley the greatest of all time?
Oh, brother.
Is Cody Hooley the greatest of all time? He would be the best at shining my shoes.
Oh.
Oh, I guess that answers that one.
Oh, I'm afraid to even ask this one. We also have one that says, oh, God. Can't believe they asked this one. But did Plasma never clean that money shot out of his eye? And I'm pretty sure you can guess who that's from.
Oh, you're talking about the architect of failures?
Yeah.
Yeah, you see, first thing, that was just a tattoo that I started wearing. And obviously, it may have looked wrong, but you know what? That was lightning. And lightning represents the thunder. And thunder and lightning makes a clap.
Wow.
I can see them taking that all the wrong way. But, hey.
That's because you did, and now everybody will.
Well, anyway, here's another question from Twitter going, who will win the triple threat for the Pulse Women's Championship?
That is a good question. And I know that Ellie, Mizaki, and Alice are in that, so I'm going to tell you right now, I really, really believe, and I mean, it's going to come down between Mizaki and Ellie. Now, I have no qualms with Allison. I mean, me and her, we used to date and all that shit. But honestly, Allison's time, she has already done her time. And she's in unfamiliar territory. She just got into DIE. She doesn't know anything about how that is. Mizaki, same thing with her. She was at another fair, which it's over there. And Ellie Embers, she's here at VWE. Now, the thing is, you gotta understand how Allison works. Allison works off with the crowd. And if the crowd doesn't like her, she ain't gonna work well. That's just the way it is. So I'm gonna have to say, honestly, between Ellie and Mizaki.
Yeah, I second that.
Well, here comes another comment from the fans. One says that I am the hashtag absolute best. You can learn lots from me because I am hashtag smart. Oh boy.
That must have been a stolen hashtag.
Yes,
Probably.
yes it was. Now, here comes an actual question that I'm sure any one of us can answer is, does the VWE have a training school? Now, Plasma, why don't you go ahead and answer that one?
VWE does have the performance center that's downstairs. I had the pleasure to actually work alongside with some of the trainers as well as just some of the competitors down there. I'll tell you right now, that's probably one of the best centers out there. I've been around the block. That is honestly probably my favorite place to be at. So, there you go.
Nice. Well, we also got another question from Twitter saying, does Plasma cheat like his DIE mate Kitty?
I think let's talk about the match that I had last week. Now, you see, here's a saying that is very familiar with me now, and it's called an eye for an eye. So the week before, which was the week that pretty much Drake decided to backstab me and decided to cheat his way to victory.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was a little pissed off. So last week I did the same thing. I cheated him. An eye for an eye. Is it wrong of me? I say some people think yeah, but it is fair. And that's what I'm looking for.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, each their own reasons, I suppose, you know.
And another comment, somebody really is enthusiastic, going, Plasma, can I have your children?
Ooh, okay.
That was in all caps.
Jesus.
No comment.
Oh, boy.
All right, well,
Okay.
this one is from Allison Danes for sure, going, hey, Plasma, how much do you miss primetime commercial breaks with me?
I have been absolutely blessed to say that I don't miss them.
Wow. Well, there you have that.
Right?
As we have another question, excuse me, why does my grandpa make better jokes than Plasma? Possibly because he's maybe more senile? I don't know, that's my intake. That's all you, Plasma.
Oh, you actually answered it, Myra. There you go.
Oh, alright then. There's that answer.
As we've got a question coming, once again, coming from Twitter, do you like having a nice?
I like having a nice day.
Oh boy. Yeah, that one also isn't as obvious.
So, as the questions keep pouring in,
Right?
Another one from Twitter, coming from Christina Krovac herself, going, so Plasma, what do you think of me taking my title back on Edge? Is Chloe a good representative for the title and the division?
As for taking your title back, I mean, that's on you. Unfortunately, I didn't quite see everything as as much as a fan I am of you, Christina Kovac, I am actually a very good fan of Chloe. And honestly, with Chloe, she is probably one of the best representations for that title as of now. Bar none.
Damn. Amen, brother. That's all I gotta say.
As we have a comment coming back from Allison Days going, we never dated. I did you for 5 seconds on a commercial break. Oh boy. Plus, I'm award-winning and former champion. I'm a goddess. Okay. Wow.
Wow.
Well, here comes another, I think honestly it's a good question. We got from another social media, when will we get a swimsuit edition calendar of Plasma?
Really?
Oh,
You're waiting on that though, Natas?
I'm just saying it's a good question.
Mm.
I mean, okay. Here's the thing that I go with this and I'm sorry to interrupt you there, Plasma, but you see the women with their swimsuits, swimsuit editions. Why not men's swimsuit editions and make that more. I mean, I know there's some out there with swimsuit editions for for the women, so to speak. Why not make men more acceptable? I guess that's where I'm going at.
Well, we already have a person. Go ahead. Sorry.
Honestly, to answer that question, unless someone makes it, it'll probably never happen. I mean, you could go ahead and talk to Team Wildfire, but I doubt they'll get back with you.
Probably.
Well,
but
somebody also says that they'll pay for a swimsuit edition of Plasma.
Oh boy.
So, on that one.
That's. But as we have another question, would you like to have desserts with Hamaso?
It depends what type of dessert it is. I mean, is it apple pie?
Knowing him would just be any kind. Any kind.
So now we have another one from one of the social medias. What do you think are the odds of Drake up against Hamaso for the title? Do you think that there's a possible matchup?
Drake actually has very good odds against Hamaso for a title. I mean, Drake, as devious as he is, he managed to become the DIE champion. As for Impulse, it's a different breeding ground. I'll tell you that right now. Just because you're champion one place doesn't mean it'll be that just easy in another place. I know this. You should know this too, Drake. As for Hamaso, I think he's gonna hold that title. I have a very good feeling he will.
Obviously, this one's from Twitter, and you could probably guess who this one's from, because it says, This one's for you, Myra. How does it feel holding my fur coats every week? They're expensive, you know. #smart.
Oh, was I supposed to hold them? I thought there was just trash can firewood. That's why I burn them every time you throw them my way. Or at least fail to. And they somehow land in the trash can, and somehow my lighter falls into the trash can as well, and just somehow spontaneously combust. So, I hope that answered that question.
As we get from another source of media, where's the Natasha and Myra swimsuit edition calendar or gift mug?
Oh, now this whole swimsuit calendar thing is going a little out of control now.
But we got a very good question from Twitter, and it's an honest to God good question.
Wow.
What's a dream match for you, Plasma, in VWE?
That is a very hard one. Well, I'll tell you right now, I do need a rematch against Derek Holt. I really do want one against Derek Holt, but however, honestly, a dream match will have to be honestly a triple threat. Actually, no, a fatal four-way. It have to be me, Derek Holt, Jeffrey Fireguard, and Austin Knight. There we go. Fatal four-way.
Holy shit! God damn, dude. Derek Holt, Jeffrey Fireguard, and Austin. Dear Lord.
Yeah, why not?
Hey, if you're gonna go out with a bang. I suppose that works. That's not bad, though.
So we got another question and directed to you, Plasma, and to me it's a really good one as well. So why the name change? Name change, Plasma.
The name change, honestly, I've gone through overseas. I've done it over there. I had to go through a name change. I couldn't rock Rainbow Falcon anymore. I couldn't even rock the Captain anymore. So I just need to rejuvenate myself, redo myself. You know, just send something that'll send a shock to your system, and that's how I came out with Plasma. I wasn't gonna be Lightning. It's gonna be Plasma.
But I think you missed the comment there, Natas. It's like Natas wants an autographed copy of Plasma's swimsuit issue. Which is why he said it was a very good question. It all makes sense now.
Oh boy.
But I think this one's also for you, Natas. Natas, do you like snooplexes?
I feel like I know who said that one. That is a very funny story. Maybe for another time. But
yeah,
I mean, just for the whole thing with snooplexes is somebody ended up, missed saying suplex is wrong, and it came out snooplexes. So that's kind of the summary of that story.
I wonder who that person was.
Yeah,
I'm
totally.
not. Yeah, I'm not going to name names at this point, but we're just giving you a summary of that. So I mean, but it is, you're. Do you? Here's one question from me. Do you miss being on the table? Because I know you've commentated for the VWE, on a couple different occasions and everything, and you used to do it underneath Rainbow Falcon. Do you miss it?
I'll be lying if I said no. Honestly, I do miss being on the table, but at the same time, I know for myself that there's better things for me to do than just being a commentator. And I'll tell you right now, for the people that absolutely still love me commentating, I'd like to thank you for, keep me on my toes, keep me on my tiptoes, keep me on the table. But hey, I sometimes have better things to do off the table. But that doesn't mean that I'm going to always stay off the table.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. Now. Maybe nothing like a break from the table once in a while. Once in a very good while.
Exactly.
But
so
you me.
Yeah, this next comment coming up
please,
from Twitter goes, I definitely buy a Myra swimsuit calendar. Nothing like 12 months of at Dr. Myra Murdoch.
I have no comment for that.
Do we have a filter on this thing?
I was explaining before. We need one, but no.
But now we've got. I mean, if they tweet it, we're going to read it. This is also coming from Twitter saying, Natasha Myra, considering Plasma has never won anything relevant, how do you think I will do in the triple threat? Ali for the win.
Can I answer this one?
Go ahead.
Okay. Allison, I know it's you. You're just probably going to fake that you're hurt again. That's the god honest truth that I can put out there. You're just probably going to fake that your leg hurts again. I mean, you've done so the entirety of your match in Pulse. So, I would not put that past you.
And this next question from Twitter is for you, Plasma, saying, what is the best match you've ever commentated? Make a hashtag smart choice, cough, Hell in a Cell, cough.
Oh, man. Okay, so this was a while ago. This was at the last show of Hawks Endings. It was a Hell in a Cell match between Christina Kovac and Lily Martinez. And I'll be right now, by God, and I'll still say it again, that was probably the best match I've ever commentated.
Oh, don't remind me of a Hawks Endings. Anyway.
Vietnam flashbacks.
Yeah, pretty much. And speaking of Hawks Endings, Plasma, I don't know if you were there, but that's where I received an elbow from Derek Holt, and that's where that whole story came from, and that everybody saying that you want Derek to elbow you again.
That's us. I was commentating.
Oh, okay. I was just saying, I didn't know if you were there or not. It was like a 2-day event, I believe. But anyway.
Still Vietnam flashbacks, though.
Yeah, pretty much. As right now, another question that came from Twitter goes, what do you think about the German sensation Ludi Graves? He is awesome, you have to admit.
Honestly, I don't know what to think about Louis. Me and him have not crossed paths yet. I just hear pretty much all the shit talking that he's been doing. So, unless I face him face to face, I have nothing to think about him. He's not on my radar right now.
So, here's a question from me. Question from me is, do you, if you get the title, do you, if you get a matchup with Maso, do you think you will win the title?
I'll be lying if I said no. The reason being is that I know how Hamaso is. This is the thing. I actually study how everyone wrestles at. Even on the table. I did with Jeffrey, I did with everybody. I study people on the table. Now, like I said before, I may not win the big one. But when it comes down to it, I will try my hardest. That's just the way I am. I'm a competitor. I compete.
Pretty much. Oh, of course. As we had a follow-up to the previous one, going, I will beat at Dr. Myra Murdoch so hard she will be sent into the nut house with her love, the crisis. Ah, okay, Allison, it's okay. I love you too. It's all good.
Don't worry, just give her a double-sided dildo. She'll be good.
Oh boy. Again, just tap the knee and she'll pretend it's hurt. I'll probably incapacitate her for a bit. But either case, anything. I mean, for me, Plasma, my question for you would be, actually, I can't even come up with one. Everything has already been answered for me.
Yeah, I'm a straightforward type of guy. That's just the way I am.
Well, and then I guess the next thing, there's been like a whole couple of issues that I would like your opinion on. There, Plasma, is first what do you think? What do you think of the DIE VWE invasion, especially on each other? I mean, it's one thing to have wrestlers going to one fed and everything, but then it's most of the time it's usually done. But now we're having wrestlers from VWE going over and invading DIE. What do you think about that?
Okay, let me put this in context. Okay, in one hand, you have Domino's Pizza. In another hand, you have Pizza Hut. Aren't they the same thing?
One would think. I would just prefer on preference.
Exactly. For me, that's the way I think. It doesn't matter if you're a DIE. It doesn't matter if you're a VW. Hell, it doesn't matter if you're a WPWF. If you're a competitor, you're a competitor. That's the way I see it.
So basically just taking the neutral look on all of it.
All right.
Pretty much.
Now, with Ludi Graves and Jeffrey Fireguard, I mean, Ludi made some very bold statements about the golden age being better than, I guess you would call the talent now, the silver age. What is your opinion on that?
I'll tell you my opinion on this. The so-called golden age of wrestling, that's in the past. Why does he want to bring up the past? We have to think about the future. Because, I mean, yes, we could look back into the past to not repeat our same mistakes. But if we look back into the past for so long, we tend to repeat it. That's just the way it is. And so, my answer with Ludi is, be careful who you're messing with. Jeffrey Fireguard, he is probably one of the most dangerous people in this roster period. Next to Kurt Bombastic. And that's the thing that you have to be very, very... You have to watch yourself about that.
Mm-hmm. Well, we have more questions coming in. Damn. Just pouring in still. As we have one from Twitter saying, do you think DNA should have stayed retired?
DNA...
David.
Yeah. I think they meant DHA, but, it's close.
I mean... That's gonna be hard. That honestly, I cannot answer someone else's. I can't not answer a retirement question because if the person feels that they should retire, then that's how they feel. If they feel like they should come out of retirement, that's how they feel. I cannot tell a person, "Hey, you should retire. You look like you're old." I'm not that type of guy.
Well, pretty much well said. As we have another one asking, has Knight had the greatest debut year in VWE history?
I'll tell you right now, Knight has a very successful year in VWE as that was his first year. However, I do remember that he came in kind of late because the person that was getting probably one of the most successful debut years of all time, and I say it's of all time, was Chloe Valentine.
Definitely.
And honestly, I can't argue with that one.
Right, I mean,
you look at. Go ahead.
All right. Well, I mean, if you look at, I mean, nobody really regarded Chloe as much for championship material up until that point with Christina. Then, boom, shot to the top. Nia, more on the other hand, he gradually went from the Pulse Championship to the United States Championship. So basically, he's been using that stepping stone kind of belt system. As for Chloe, she just shot up from the top, out of nowhere.
Well, I mean, both careers had their moments, but you look at the accomplishments between the two. I mean, Knight has gone from one title, lost it, to winning another belt right off the get on his debut on primetime on the main roster.
Mm-hmm.
So,
That's
as
true.
we get another comment from Twitter from Allison Dane saying, "I hate everybody. You all suck." Well
Aww.
then. But
she didn't get it late tonight.
but back on the difference between Knight and Chloe is it's they have their accomplishments. Will I say either one? In my personal opinion, either one of them had more successful than the other. No, because you look at everything that Chloe has been through here at VWE, but you look at what Knight has done as well. I think they're pretty equal at this point. They both have had, but in both their divisions, they've had pretty much a successful debut year.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, in more general makes sense. Yeah, pretty much the same.
Now, I got another Twitter comment from Ludi Graves saying that the German sensation will show you that the golden era is better than the stuff you see nowadays.
Okay, I got the retort to that. Now, this golden era does he speak of? Does it involve... Is this the same era that revolved around the main title going ring around the rosies, around the same couple, 2 or 3 people?
Ooh.
Ooh.
That's even better than my snapping of the hit comment. He has a point.
As for sure. I mean, it's definitely going to see. I mean, there is a reason why they are the golden era, because they did start this business. They did start, everything that we know today. Whereas today, I guess you can call now the Silver Age, using a comic book term. They will come in and they do a lot more. Now, he does make points, but when it came down to that, he will be walking fine. He won't be, because of the fact that he goes in and wrestles. But it's also the fact of the matter is they know the Silver Age knows how to keep the audience's attention. And that's where the attention span changes. Things change. Some people need to learn to change with it and not stick into the old ways that may have worked back then but won't work now.
Mm-hmm.
That's just my opinion on that.
I agree with it.
But the thing is, I don't even consider this even the Silver Age. I consider this the age of the future. We're looking ahead, so far ahead now than we did back then. What does that tell us? We are by how our slogan is evolving. That's the way how VWE is, and that's how the way VWE has always stood for. And now, yes, we have roadblocks here and there, but that doesn't mean that we're no longer, this not the best age. I mean, if you keep, like I said, you keep looking to the past, gonna keep end up repeating it.
True. Well,
As we got,
another one.
Go ahead.
We have one that says Viola won the World Women's title in her first year and Queen of the Arena. Top of the pile off the bat. Hashtag better debut year. Well, it seems we're having a lot of, moot points as to which actually was the quote-unquote best debut of the year.
Oh, I do admit, Viola did had a hell of a year. It was her first year though, And yeah, you are right. She did win the women's title in her first year at the Queen VWE in her first year. However, this is the start of a new year.
It's true. I mean, she topped it more in 2016 than this coming year.
Tell you what, I want to see Viola top what she did. I want to see her top win the women's world title and to top Queen of the Wheel. I want to see her top everything. Then she'll have the best year ever.
Mm-hmm.
As we have another comment going from this is obviously from Knight. Gradually, I debuted winning the United States title. Never been done before. I did it.
Uh-huh. Well, it's also adding in the factors that he got completely butthurt from his own manager costing him his Pulse title. So what he do? He had to train 3 to 4, 5 times harder than he usually did just to get the United States champion. Of course, along adding in with the fact that he has Cody in his little goat cult, whatever it's called, whatever, and all that. So of course, he would consider that the best part of his career. And don't get me wrong, that was kind of impressive. But adding in all the little detailed factors of it, of course, he himself would consider it the best debut of the year. For this current year, obviously.
And I mean, it's definitely going to be, based on perspective. As we got another comment come around, so much pride being thrown around at hashtag VWE Live. And it does. I mean, and that's the thing about it is people are proud of their achievement. So obviously they're going to throw it around. But then we have a comment from another social media going, why does Plasma talking jive?
Do I really talk in jive?
I never noticed it.
I've never noticed it.
I never noticed it either.
All right, folks, but we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. And thank you, Plasma, for joining us here on VWE Live. But make sure that you are around next week as the chairman himself, Stuart Wharf, will be guest here on VWE Live next week. So there'll be a lot of questions about VWE, in general that I expect, at least that I will have about the future of VWE. What do you think there, Myra?
Oh yeah, it's going to be pretty intense. I mean, it's going to be bombarded with maybe everything that's going on, especially with Shockwave, the Tag Team Classic, as well as any future shows we have planned for the upcoming weeks ahead.
So once again, make sure you are here not only for VWE Live, but make sure you are here at the Empire City Coliseum for Pulse, which is Wednesday at 5 p.m. SLT. Edge, which is at 6 p.m. SLT, and of course Pulse Sunday at 1 p.m. SLT. So, like all good things, they must come to an end. I've been your co-host for the evening, the most recognized voice in SL Sports Entertainment today, the voice of Detroit, Natasha Grimmore.
I've been the voice of sanity herself, Myra Murdoch.
And I'll just do this one time for the people that miss it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking, Rebel Falcon here, and we'll see you guys later.
Good fight. Good night.